Sidney Burris may not have initiated the Fulbright College Honors Program, but after his 23 years of dedicated service, Fulbright Honors certainly reflects his imprint in its spirit, its scholarly rigor, and the sense of belonging that our students feel when they become part of our community.
I was asked by the director at the time, Elizabeth Payne, to take over the job of directorship for 1 year because she was going to be on sabbatical, I believe it was. So I said, sure, I'll do it for 1 year. I did it for 1 year, I stepped down, she came back, she did it for a year, and then she came back to me and said, oh, I'm going to be gone for 1 more year, could you do it for 1 more year? I said yes, I stepped into the position, and Professor Payne never came back. That year that I came back permanently is rumored to be 1993. The first thing is the Sturgis Fellows. My relationship with the Sturgis family and that endowment, and selecting talented high school students to receive the Sturgis Fellowship, and then when they're here on our campus, the care and maintenance and feeding of a Sturgis Fellow. The directorship is a job that requires diplomacy. You know, year to year, one of the things I insisted upon was quality of work, particularly for the honors thesis, and quality of performance and assessment that allows a student to be a member of the Fulbright College Honors Program. But I think the honors program has to keep in front an insistence on both defining excellence and seeing to it that our students achieve, excellence as the program defines it.
So I had the wonderful opportunity of going on the text program with Dr. Burris, and it was incredibly memorable because of the experience itself, but also because of the people leading it. One of the things that happened on the trip was it actually took us 2 or 3 days to get out of New York City just to fly to India. Our flight was rescheduled and canceled and rescheduled so many different times. And it was incredibly stressful, and we were all sitting on the airport floor for hours on end. But Dr. Burris remained calm throughout it, and you really felt like you could rely on him.
Yeah, this trip now has taken a turn for the better.
Right. And I think that speaks a lot to who he is as a person and his character. His leadership through the text program has taught me so much about how to be a good human, how to be more compassionate, how to think critically, how to think about other cultures and other people and be able to talk about these issues. I think just everyone who talks to him, at least on the program, it felt like you just aspire to his level of intellectualism.
I remember in one of the first text courses, Dr. Burris sat all of us down and he drew a Venn diagram on the board and was describing to us like the differences and listing out the differences between Tibetan people and us as undergraduates at U of A, and we were all coming up with several different ideas. And in the end, Dr. Burris just said that what's important is that you look at the similarities between the two, because once you find similar grounding with someone, that's when you can truly develop a good relationship with someone, and that's the foundation to move forward on. I've been able to apply that lesson to so many things in life, and I attribute an open-minded thinking to Dr. Burris.
You're taking a student and you're introducing them to an aspect of themselves that they're going to have to get used to, that they didn't know existed, and that is that they are quite intelligent and quite capable of accomplishing extraordinary things. And as a director and as being as the chair of the Sturgis Selection Committee, you get to have that experience, and that's an extraordinary experience.
Dr. Burris, greetings from Atlanta. This is John Terry, class of 2008. My first impressions of you. were before I even met you. I was a teenager and had older siblings come through the U of A, and whenever they would talk about their favorite professors, you were always in that conversation. So before I even set foot on campus in the fall of 2004, I already knew that you were someone to seek out as a mentor and a professor. So incidentally, I am a teacher now myself, and relatively early in my career, I find myself thinking back to my very best teachers in my life, and especially in college, so that I can try to, in my own small ways, emulate the things that they did to bring out the best in their students. So here's what I remember about you. You had a real knack, a real gift, an uncommon gift to bring out abilities in students that they couldn't possibly recognize for themselves. You were always generous with your time. You always had an open door. You were always in the mood for humor. We always had really, really good conversations, and you were so generous with your time. I remember you letting me just swing by and hopefully not waste your time too much. I remember us talking a lot about my thesis, which I wrote with Dr. Kuhn and you supervised on early medieval Europe. But I think most of what we talked about, if I'm honest, was Cardinals baseball, and that's informed a lot of our friendship over the years, I think, for better or for worse. I distinctly remember us exchanging lots and lots of frantic emails in the wee hours of the morning in October 2006 during the World Series, so thank you very much again for being a very quick reply to my anxieties while I was studying abroad in the UK in the wee hours. Anyway, Dr. Burris, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the role that you had in my development, not only as a student, but as a person. Sincerely, the memory of your friendship and support at Arkansas helps currently shape and define my experience at Arkansas and my memory of it.
From the first time that I stepped on campus back in 2009 and until the first time I went to India with you back in 2011 and until right now as a grad student in the philosophy department. You have been a faithful teacher and a faithful mentor and a faithful friend throughout the entire process. And along with so many others, I just wanted to say thank you for the excellent job that you've done and congratulations for this new step in your journey. Thank you so much.
My first impression of Dr. Burris, because that was who he was, I was super intimidated. He was a professor and the head of the honors program in Fulbright. And so even though I worked one door down in 518 for 6 years, before I interviewed, I may have only spoken, I can't even think, maybe 5 words to him. So intimidated. I think Sidney has a real calming effect on students, and he said on more than one occasion that he wanted during his tenure in the honors program for it to be a kinder, gentler program. And I think that that's exactly what he's been able to convey with students, is just to be kind and always know that Fulbright Honors is a real welcoming place. I had never before thought second about squishing a spider or a cockroach or any kind of bug that made its way into my area. But something about Sidney, and I'm sure everybody has felt this, like I feel guilty if I squish that spider. So I have caught insects and taken them 5 floors down to Old Main Lawn and released them into the wild. And that's because of Sidney. Flies are still a no-go, but everything else I take back outside.
The honors program has allowed me to develop, new interests, such as the text program, the study abroad program in India, that deals with the oral history of the Tibetans. The honors program has given me the time and exposure to a wide range of students from all majors that have become interested in the text program. So I hope to spend more time on the text program, and I hope to spend more time writing my personal essays. Oh, I think Dr. Erickson needs very little advice. The only advice I would have is to follow her instincts, because I know her instincts are always going to be spot on. That's how much confidence I have in her. She's going to do a great job. In fact, I look forward to watching the honors program, grow under her tutelage.
I'm very excited about my new position. I'm excited to work with honors students and the faculty that serve those students. Honors students are at the top of their game. They are well prepared. They have an intellectual curiosity and energy that I think is necessary to a fully fleshed out liberal arts experience and a holistic experience.
Automatically, every day, one thing I think about with Sidney, because now that I know him, he's Sidney for me, is Pearl Jam. And it's because it's always on. I had a real love for Pearl Jam as someone in high school.
Can you tell me a little bit about your fascination with Pearl Jam?
Yeah, I did. The Pearl Jam thing, it resurfaced yesterday. An old friend of mine are getting old. We're coming along, and we're going to hand that music. The song is called Down. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. Listen to the. So I play that song.
I couldn't sing a song for you by Pearl Jam.